inspiring an entire planet of young women. As the first person to sequence DNA in space, Dr. Kathleen Kate Rubins isn't your average astronaut. She earned her PhD in cancer biology from Stanford. And once she arrives for her third mission on board the International Space Station, Kate will study how cells organize in and respond to microgravity. The questions she seeks to answer will give us greater insight into how tumors move in the human body. Other tasks include a cardiovascular experiment building on an investigation she completed during her first space mission and research using the space station's cold atom lab. She'll also be on board ISS for the arrival of NASA's SpaceX Crew 1 mission and Boeing's Orbital Flight Test 2. Kate's launch is planned for October the 14th, 2020, aboard Soyuz MS-17. I spoke to Kate by phone while she was in Star City, Russia, just outside Moscow, preparing with 2 cosmonauts for her October launch and 6-month stay at the International Space Station. I'm Tonya Hall, and here's my conversation with astronaut Kate Rubins.
Greetings, Dr. Rubins. This is Tonya Hall for CBS.
Hi, please call me Kate.
Well, great to meet you, Kate. My first question, on your previous trips to ISS, you spent over 12 hours on spacewalks outside the spacecraft. Describe the first minute as you exited ISS on your first spacewalk. What was it like to float in space?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time training actually in a giant underwater pool in the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory at Johnson Space Center. And when we exit the airlock there, we always have the pool floor below us. So it's actually pretty incredible to come out of the airlock in a spacesuit for the first time at vacuum. And instead of the pool floor, there's 250 miles below you, there's this beautiful planet. So I thought it was an incredible sight. It's just something you're never ever going to forget. It's it's burned in your memory. It's so gorgeous.
Even though this will be your third trip to ISS, you'll be among the few astronauts on board as it celebrates its 20th year in orbit. NASA has a great history of building robust spacecraft. How has ISS aged over time, and what upgrades have you seen since your first visit?
Yeah, ISS, it's incredible. It's been assembled over time. And when you see it, it's this engineering marvel that we have such a large space station and humans have built it in orbit. We're constantly adding to it. So on my last flight, we actually added the International Docking Adapter. And this was the adapter that allowed Doug and Bob to come through the hatch when they first docked to the space station just a few months ago. So we're going to see even more upgrades while I'm there. We actually have some plans to put some new rollout solar arrays, and this will extend the life of the solar arrays on space station. You may have seen recently we just did a whole bunch of spacewalks to upgrade the batteries on space station, and so we're constantly adding and improving. And this is one of the things that's allowed us to have this engineering marvel last over 20 years.
Kate, you're a remarkable role model for millions of people, including young women across the globe. What words of encouragement can you offer them about reaching their own dreams among the stars?
I would say if they have something that they're interested in, if it's space or science or aviation, just pursue it wholeheartedly. When I was in high school, I got really interested in viruses. I thought this was the coolest thing in the world to study. And so I became a virologist. It took some persistence. It takes asking, so don't be afraid of rejection. If you want to study science, find a local science lab near you. See how you can get involved. Try to publish a paper. And if you ask around, eventually, there are scientists that love having young people in their lab. There's lots of people that want to mentor the next generation. And so you may get a few no's, but I bet if somebody asks 3 or 4 times, they'll find a scientific research home or a place that they can pursue engineering or space science or aviation.
Beyond this mission, what are your own personal long-term science goals?
I'm incredibly excited to be going back to ISS just because I get the chance to be involved in so many different scientific projects. Before, when I was a principal investigator leading a research lab, you do your one area of research and you really get deep into what you're studying, but you don't get a chance to see the full breadth of science. And so in space, I get to see everything from physics to material science to biology. And I'm hoping when I come back, I can do some more with working with folks to get young people interested in science, get them exposed to just the variety of kinds of scientific experiments that you can do, and continue to pursue some of our studies about scientific exploration, space exploration, and I'm particularly interested in the human microbiome.
All right, Kate, what is the smartest decision that you made in your journey to become an astronaut?
I applied. So I actually, never really considered it much after high school until one of my friends actually saw the advertisement for astronauts on USA Jobs, and she said, "Hey, you should apply." And I thought about it. I said, "Well, they're not going to take a biologist. They're going to want an engineer." And she said, "No, like you should apply." And I did. So you don't get anywhere with your dreams unless you just start that first step. And even if you think it's something that would never happen to you, go ahead, submit your application.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Kate. Safe journeys.
Absolutely. Thanks.
You don't get anywhere with your dreams unless you start that first step. I'm Tonya Hall, and find more of my interviews right here or at tonyahall.net. And don't forget to start that first step.